Hey everyone, this is Paul Gale from paulgalenetwork.com, and thank you for joining me today. We are going to check out the Metroid Dread Trailer 2 that Nintendo just put up on their YouTube channel. This game comes out on Nintendo Switch this October 8th. It is currently August 27th, so we're just a little over a month away. I'm stoked. Let's watch. Her in this suit looks really cool. Metroid Dread. When this was shown off at E3, I was blown away and very happy. Oh, wow. Cool moves. Oh, nice. Very dynamic. Seeing the Chozo with an arm cannon. Seeing Samus with dashes. Kraid lock-on missile launchers. Boss battle, mini boss battle. Dang, dude. Oh man, there's the 2 minutes almost up. Ooh. I wonder if they'll have one more trailer before launch without giving too much away. They are hyping this thing up. And rightfully so. Metroid is terrific. It's a franchise that I've loved for many years, and it always baffled me that it wasn't a giant seller, you know? Okay. First of all, a little bit of a trailer breakdown now that I've watched it. The suit is changing, you know, as Samus's suit does usually throughout the Metroid games, but we're seeing it look kind of more close to her typical Various suit and whatnot, and then moments where it's quite a bit different in terms of physical sculpture and color. This design right here is pretty sleek. It's almost like a White Ranger-esque. If this was the Samus that we first saw way back in 1986, I think people might be like, is that a woman under there? Obviously, that was one of the first heroines in gaming and was a very shocking moment back in the day, which is really cool. And this suit is definitely kind of more sleek, and you could see her curves. There are a couple of things that I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into. This dash attack, this thing looks awesome. She's got that parry move from Metroid Samus Returns, which, by the way, if you haven't checked out on the 3DS, download it on the eShop or find a copy on eBay or something like that, because it's a really solid title. But that dash attack seems to be new. That is awesome. That's just like this. You know what? Let's look at that again. It's just like this badass, you know, encounter, this face-off. Chained up right here, facing him head on. Like, what you got? Don't make me lock you up again. Or whatever. I don't know. Game looks like it's going to have a cool story. It'll be interesting to see how much voice acting it has. This looks powerful. And we see an arm cannon on here, which is pretty neat too. Swinging around. There's a shot where I thought we saw a new colored suit, like Samus in a purple outfit. There's that dash. I bet you she gets it from finishing that boss battle. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, sweet. Okay. Yeah, lightning is flashing and stuff, but that's not just light bouncing off of her and making her look purple, right? No, that's a purple suit. Yep, there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. So we've got gravity suit combination. Will she eventually just look like her normal self, like she does typically in this shot right here on my shirt or in my Samus Aran statue in the back right there? This right here, though, this is sleek. I like her big shoulder, you know, look. I also like the sleek one. This is a combination of something more slick, like we saw in Metroid Zero Mission, and her, bigger shoulders, her armor. Nintendo really can't do wrong with Samus. They have an awesome design that they came up with back in the day. And I think every look that Samus has had, even as different as it got in the Metroid Fusion title for Game Boy Advance in like 2002, has been cool. So far, fingers crossed, they haven't done her wrong in terms of look. And for that matter, also, Metroid has been an extremely consistently good franchise. And that's one of the things that has made me always wonder, how come it has never just been this awesome seller? We've had a couple of Metroid titles break into that low 3 million category, the original Metroid and the Metroid Prime. But you're looking at some of the heavy hitters in the video game industry, such as Super Metroid, wildly regarded by many to be one of the best games ever made, and Metroid Prime, right up there as well. If you look at Metroid, groundbreaking. Metroid 2, terrific, really. The remake, Samus Returns, an awesome remake. Zero Mission, a remake of 1 essentially, very good. Super Metroid, just about a perfect game. Metroid Fusion, terrific. The last new 2D Metroid game. Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3. Of those 3, I thought all were excellent, with 1 and 3 in particular being just, almost perfect games as well. Metroid Prime, kind of like Super Metroid, really highly regarded as one of the best games ever made. And then if you look at some spin-off titles and whatnot, those are also solid when it comes to, pinball, if that's your thing. Um, hard to complain with the Metroid franchise. Even Other M, for as different as it was, and it was a little bit of an experiment, but still kind of cool, slightly unnecessary though, going from 2D Wii remote on its side to flipping it over and pointing at the screen and scan. It was fun and engaging, not the most necessary, but overall a good game when it comes to telling a story, nice visuals on Wii, good gameplay and combat, working with a 3D environment, moving around with 8 directions thanks to the D-pad instead of a full analog stick. That was a little bit hit and miss. Some of the weapons being unlocked in the way they were without giving away too many spoilers, and a little bit of a choice there that some agree with, some not. But it's definitely not a bad game. It was liked at launch by some, hated by others. I think if you go back and look at it from, when the game came out, 2011 to now, 10 years have passed. It's a good game. It's still held up as a good Metroid game. It's just not to the pedigree of these other, core entries in the franchise. But still, you're looking at 10 games that are really solid. And now we've got Metroid Dread, which seems to be really pushing it for 2D Metroid. I would love it if this was somehow as good, as perfect feeling as Super Metroid, where the game was deep, had a lot of exploration and secret rooms, and then secret rooms within secret rooms once in a while, and a great sense of power scaling, leveling up, Samus's character getting more and more powerful, more cool options, weapon progression system, which the series is known for doing so well, but never becomes overly easy because there's this progression of enemy difficulty as you're navigating through the world. And then when you go back to the earlier stages, you're just destroying through these weaker bad guys because the game is, pretty open where you could travel anywhere at any time just about. But even sometimes they'll throw in more difficult enemies reappearing in the older stages. So it's, you're always feeling more powerful, especially when you go back, but not overpowered because there's some new characters. And then you're making your way through the end, and it's ramping up in difficulty too. They do a great job when it comes to bosses. If the game has voice acting, hopefully it's solid. The visuals look great. We don't see that there's a lot of loading necessarily. The cinema scenes, the FMVs are stunning. Throw those throughout. Looks like we've got a nice story going for us. Hopefully it's a good length. You can't do too long with a Metroid game. I think with this type of game, you could find yourself sitting there for several hours just playing through and getting lost in Metroid. But it's also like you could probably play for 30, 40 minutes, unlock a part of the map, save, get to a save station, put your system in sleep mode if you can't get to a save station, and be all right because you have this visual clarity of, oh, I cleared this certain section and I'm okay for now. Unless if there's some kind of surprise, it's not going to have an online or a couch two-player co-op or versus mode. Not that it needs to, but that's something that does help games sometimes sell more. Word of mouth spread. Hey, you want to get on this and play together? This won't have that going for it. But a lot of Nintendo Switch's games have just been on fire where they end up being the best-selling games of each respective franchise. Like Super Mario Odyssey, best-selling 3D Mario game. Animal Crossing, New Horizons, best-selling Animal Crossing. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, best-selling Zelda game, 2D or 3D. Luigi's Mansion 3, the best of the Luigi's Mansion series in terms of sales. Super Mario Party, the best-selling Mario Party game. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the best-selling Smash Bros. Game. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, soon to be the best-selling Mario Kart game. Now, Mario Kart 8 already is, when you combine Wii U and Nintendo Switch sales, but the SKU alone of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is about to overtake Mario Kart Wii and become the best-selling Mario Kart game, period. And then, other franchises are doing well on the system from third parties and whatnot. And now it's time for Metroid to shine. Like, this game will pass the 3 million barrier, that hurdle that has been difficult for Metroid to top. And I think it's pretty likely that this game will sell 5 million. I'm hoping, honestly, hit 7. Hitting 7 would be a tremendous success. I think hitting 3 is going to be great. Hitting 5 would be probably very satisfying for Nintendo and bode well on the future of the franchise. Like, okay, it's back. We're going to do Metroid Dread. We got fans into it. Maybe they'll port over a Metroid compilation pack. Wouldn't that be awesome if they threw in like Metroid Zero Mission, Samus Returns, Super Metroid, and Fusion? Those 4 games, 2 of them are already in 3D. 3D polygon visuals. Sorry, 2 or 3. 1 only. Samus Returns, and then Metroid Zero Mission is remade, so it looks modern. Super Metroid, you could just crispen up, and then Fusion's already, newer than those, so it already looks good, just crispen it up as well. And Zero Mission, crispen it up. And you've got those games, and throw in Samus Returns, just make it go from 3DS's visuals to a little spruced up for Nintendo Switch. A $60 package of those 4 would be terrific. Then you got Metroid Prime Trilogy, then you got Metroid Prime 4. That would be great. That's a little speculation talk on my end. Let Metroid Dread succeed. Let it sell 5 million, see that there's an interest, and then release several months later after this has got so much attention, this 4-pack for $60 with, not remade visuals for these classic games, but just tightened up so that they're in 1080p in widescreen with the option. That would be kind of cool to play through the older Metroid games in a 16:9, keep it 60 frames per second and stuff. Then do Metroid Prime, then have the big one, Metroid Prime 4. That's something that I'm looking forward to a lot as well, because I love 2D Metroid. and 3D Metroid. I don't know which is my preferred. 2D Metroid plays a little bit faster, and sometimes you're able to, well, see more of the world at once, and the game seems to have more variety in visuals. But 3D Metroid is also terrific because you've got a big world to explore, and it feels more realistic because you are navigating from her first person perspective through her visor and stuff. And uh, they're honestly both fantastic. I wish Retro Studios amazing success when it comes to Prime 4. But yeah, that went from a trailer reaction video to an awesome, in my opinion, at least personally, a very fun discussion on the potential future of Metroid Dread. Should this thing hit 7 million? I don't think it's going to take a long time before Nintendo revisits new Metroid games because the Nintendo Switch is the system to do it. You've got to put some money behind it and do Star Fox right. Do F-Zero right. Make that game that I pitched, that 1080 snowboarding wave race, an Excite Bike crossover game, maybe with Pilot Wings in there, and bring back some of these dormant franchises, Kid Icarus. Go ahead and, put a good team together, put some money behind Pit, and have these big games come out in franchises that historically haven't done just gangbusters in terms of sales, because Nintendo Switch has reached this penetration in the market where it's delivering so well at such high levels to hardcore gamers, the folks that love Zelda and Mario, and the people that like to pick up Dragon Ball Z, Mortal Kombat, Doom, Wolfenstein, Street Fighter, Monster Hunter. The games in those franchises and those entries are all doing well on Nintendo Switch. That Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 pack alone sold 1 million copies on Nintendo Switch. So the system's doing very well for that market. It's also doing really well for the casual market. You're seeing Animal Crossing, this game that could kind of go casual or, core gamer, doing extremely well. People picking up Mario Kart, people just picking up Nintendo Switch by the millions and having second units, third units even sometimes or more in their household. It's a popular name. The system's not really slowing down. It's probably going to have just as good sales-wise of a 2022 as 2021. We've got the OLED model coming out, big games coming out the last few months of this year, a lot of solid titles in 2022. The system's healthy. This far in, it is healthy. So I really want Nintendo to step a little bit out of the comfort zone and be willing to try to put some money, because normally if you put money into something that's not going to be that successful, that's too big of a risk, right? You're not going to make your money back or barely enough to make it worth it. And that's why sometimes these older franchises that aren't so big in terms of sales but beloved don't get these sequels for years. But Nintendo Switch is the one to do it. And if a game happens to not work out so well, I think it's okay because you've got so much extra cash at the bank, not to make an unwise decision, but I think the risk is going to be worth it because I have a feeling that games will deliver on Nintendo Switch in terms of sales, but even if they're slightly under, the satisfaction you get from the fans, from the potential merchandise, from the word of mouth will be worth it to keep that franchise more vibrant, to potentially add in to your other projects that are successful, like Smash Brothers via DLC for some of these characters with dormant franchises or characters thrown into Mario Kart. You'll see the rewards, Nintendo, and if not, you've got so much cash that I think it's worth the risk that, well, some of these games have truly delivered and gotten so much money that if a couple others are a little bit short, and worst case scenario, nothing's ever going to fail completely. I don't think if Nintendo went full on crazy with Donkey Kong does do pretty well, Kirby does do pretty well, but really, boom, crazy with an F-Zero, right? I don't think the game's going to do poor and be this tremendous catastrophe and not make anything and be a giant loss in the bucket and bankrupt you. No, I think worst case scenario is maybe it didn't make a profit and just barely broke even or under. And that's like a worst case scenario, right? It's not going to be so far down in the hole, because a lot of people want F-Zero. You could do a lot with the game. You could make it a big game. You could have Captain Falcon in an action role environment as a bounty hunter going through worlds. You could have a nice story mode. You could have online racing, local racing, co-op, beautiful visuals. And that type of game just sounds so cool and ambitious that it would be a big project. It would be a AAA style racing game with a big budget, but that's going to do well. It's not going to be a horrible loss. Worst case scenario, it's was it really worth it? We lost a little or just broke even or made a little. The worst case, I think it's going to be a success. Not Breath of the Wild style success, but, a success nonetheless of something solid. Now's the time, Nintendo. Bring back these old franchises. Give them each the we're going forth and really delivering. Look at Pokemon. Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield are the best-selling Pokemon games in years. And by the end of it, might even be, the second best-selling Pokemon pair of games of all time. Fingers crossed, I hope. All right, that's going to do today. Today's trailer watch wound up being a video game talk. And I had a lot of fun, like I said. Thank you for watching. We're at 22 minutes from a 2-minute trailer. Cool stuff. I hope you had fun watching. This is Paul Gale from PaulGaleNetwork.com signing out. If you liked today's video and don't mind liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, hitting the notification bell, I appreciate it. As the channel is growing, we're approaching 2,500 members, if I'm not mistaken. So appreciate you all for being here. I do video game news, martial arts tutorial, fun skits. Try to have a good time. All right, that's going to do it. Take it easy. Have a good one. Bye.